Hello everyone. Last night it looks like US and China got along well. Then today there was a news that US-India trade talks are set to resume. On top of that, Indian government released some key macro data such as unemployment rate, trade data and wholesale inflation number. So all those we are going to discuss in this pre-market video for today 16th September 2025 for the Indian stock market in terms of Nifty and Bank Nifty. After 7 days of positive close, yesterday Nifty snapped it and closed negative. However, Nifty's price action was really flat. If you see the graph, it appears very volatile, but the difference between the day's low and day's high was very less than 0.3%, as due to lack of catalyst to push the market further up. Here, we know last week Indian IT stocks increased above 4% and Pharma increased 2% due to the expectation of US interest rate cut tomorrow. Hence, yesterday both the sector had some profit booking, both closed around 0.5% negative. On the positive side, Realty increased above 2% since SEBI relaxed some of the rules regarding the REIT, which making it little easier for mutual fund to invest in the real estate sector. So if we ignore the Realty, all the other sectors increased or decreased around or less than 0.5%. However, the broader market slightly outperformed. The advanced return ratio came as 5:4, meaning slightly more number of listed stocks closed positive than it closed negative. About institution, in the cash market, FII was net sellers. They net sold for 1,250 crore rupees and DA net bought for near 2,000 crore rupees. Those were the quick takeaways. In short, Indian market was okay yesterday, flat with negative bias before the Fed interest rate cut decision. Then coming to US market, New York manufacturing index decreased about 9%, but the analysts were expecting the increase of 4%. So in the economic sense, it's a bad data, and it also increased the fear that it might increase the inflation further, as this indicates squeeze in the supply side. But US market ignored it because of rate cut and Google AI optimism, which in turn made the US market to scale new all-time high value. In the end, Dow Jones increased 0.11%, S&P 500 was up by 0.47%, and Mazdock outperformed and increased near 1%. Despite all the positivity, VIX increased 6% and made it to move above 15.5 from around 14.5. Here, please note, if US market closed positive and VIX decreased, it means then global momentum is positive. But that's not the case, so I would say it's just short covering. Here, I like to highlight one thing. Yesterday in Spain, US-China trade deal went well, and Trump made the post that US will be concluding the deal shortly. Then regarding the TikTok issue, US Treasury Secretary said that is going to form the new framework with China. And so this coming Friday, Trump said he is going to talk with the Chinese President Xi Jinping. In short, it seems for now, US ironed out their difference with China. Then about oil price, it increased 1% as investors are assessing the Ukraine's drone attacks on Russian refineries and the Trump's push on the NATO countries to halt Russian oil purchase. At the time of this video, WTI crude trading near $63.5 per barrel and Brent crude closed at $67.5 per barrel. Regarding Indian ADR, despite the US market positive close, both the IT stocks ADR closed negative and even ICICI Bank ADR was mild negative. Only HDFC Bank ADR managed to stay on the positive side. If we calculate the arbitrage, all the stocks have some negative difference with the Indian market trading price. However, those ADR negativity was not seen in the GIFT Nifty. Early morning today, it trimmed all the last night losses and traded at 25,167. Equating that with the spot market, for now it's indicating the absolute flat opening, no fresh movement indication on neither side. Then moving to the new India related info. Now US-China kind of came to trade deal conclusion. So last night US chief trade negotiator reached India, and as per official Commerce Ministry announcement, US and India are set to begin trade negotiations today. Last August month, Trump suspended the 6th round US-India negotiation, which in turn made our market very negative. Hence now today, India and the US are going to have the negotiation again, which is a positive sign, and potentially market might take this as positive, but I could be wrong. Macro-wise, wholesale inflation for the August month came as just 0.52%, and the major reduction comes from the reduction in the fuel and food price. Please note, this wholesale inflation data released during our market time at 12 p.m. So market price action already factored it. However, the other ones such as trade deficit and unemployment rate released in the aftermarket hours, so it might have an impact. Unemployment rate came very low, like 25-year low value, just to 5.1% for the August month. I know it's a controversial number, but this is what our Indian government declared officially yesterday. Then regarding the trade data, because of the Trump tariff on India, export to US fell marginally, but our import reduced significantly. So the trade deficit decreased mildly in comparison to July month. This is positive for Indian rupee and so can influence the stock market indirectly. Then about SEBI, because lately FII had been selling continuously, so SEBI wants to change it. Hence yesterday SEBI eased some of the rules for FII by including the single window clearance system. Honestly, I don't know what does it mean and how this will help FII. But SEBI mentioned this because of this ease of investment. They believe in the present financial year it expects to bring the fund inflow of $20 billion. So far in 2025 calendar year, FII had been net sellers. They net sold for $11 billion. So if it brings back the FII means, then it's a positive. Again, this also got potential to influence the market on the positive side. Finally, stock-wise, L&T backed the Indian government bullet train order between Mumbai to Ahmedabad worth for around 4,000 crore rupees. So we could say L&T will be on focus today. As a summary, US market closed positive, but as I explained, but not the global momentum. In line with that, GIFT Nifty indicating the flat opening despite the negative ADR closing. However, this US-India trade talk reset and SEBI ease of FII investment rules potentially might help the market on the positive side. But please note, today is the weekly expiry, so market will have that related influence as well. Then in case of participant wise open interest, yesterday near 20% new call options and 2% new put options were added. So PCR ratio dropped back to 1.08 from 1.26. Position wise, proprietary traders again turned bearish. On Friday end, they have like near net 3% open interest favoring the bullish position, but that now changed to net near 2% open interest favoring the bearish position. FII no change in stance, having net 7% favoring bearish position and client having net 9.7% favoring bullish position. Who is correct and who is wrong, only time will tell. Here, this calculation is based on overall open interest scenario. We don't know how much position they have for this weekly expiry and how much for next week and so on. So take this data just for reference. Please don't make trade based on this. Then as per stock open interest, Mazdock Shipbuilding, Shree Cements, Bandhan Bank, Oil India, M&M and KPIT Tech are some of the 58 stocks that got an increased open interest along with a negative close indicating the short build-up. On the other hand, Angel One, RVNL, IRFC, AU Small Finance Bank, HUDCO, IEX are some of the 77 stocks that got an increased open interest with a positive price close, which means these stocks got the long build-up. About the things to look out, at 2:30 p.m. Europe economic sentiment and in night US retail sales growth rate are the important things we need to keep an eye out today. Coming to technical, Nifty opened flat at near 25,120 and traded within 90 points range throughout the session, then closed at 25,070. Thus on the daily chart, Nifty formed a bearish candle with minor upper and lower shadow, indicating a range mode, but the important to note is, again it didn't able to reach the August month high value. However, on the positive side, Nifty sustained well above all key moving averages with positive crossovers of the 10-day and 20-day exponential moving average over the 50-day exponential moving average. In addition, RSI tilted downward but continued to hold its positive stance with MACD. So the uptrend is still intact as long as Nifty holds 25,000 to 24,800 support zone. On the higher side, 25,150 to 25,200 zone is expected to be the immediate key hurdle. A decisive break above this level could increase the positive momentum. In case of Bank Nifty, it opened 70 points gap up and unlike Nifty, it extended its upward journey for the 9th consecutive session, then closed at around 54,900. Thus, on the daily chart, Bank Nifty formed a doji candlestick pattern indicating indecisiveness among buyers and sellers. Especially, Bank Nifty climbed above above the 100 exponential moving average for the first time since August 25, while also sustaining above the 10-day and 20-day exponential moving average. RSI improved to 50, maintaining its positive crossover with MACD. Hence, going ahead, 50-day exponential moving average zone of 55,100 to 55,200 could act as the crucial hurdle, and a sustainable move above 55,200 could increase the positivity towards 55,600, followed by 56,000 in the short term. On the downside, the 20-day exponential moving average zone of 54,700 to 54,600 is expected to act as the key support. On the options front, the maximum call option open was at 25,100 strike, followed by 25,200 and 25,500, with maximum new call option ending at 25,100, 25,200 and 25,150 strike. Whereas on the put side, the maximum open was at 25,000 strike, followed by 25,100 and 24,800, with maximum new put option ending at 25,100, 25,050 and 25,000 strike. Thus, from options data, it indicates that 25,000 is likely to act as the immediate support, followed by 24,800. On the upside, resistance is expected in the 25,100 to 25,200 zone. So that's all in this video. Hope you all got some useful information. Please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video so that it will help me beat the YouTube algorithm and also motivate me to do more. Please don't make any investment based on this, as I'm not a SEBI registered advisor. I'm doing this for me and viewers' educational purpose only. Thanks for watching.